Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot and the upcoming Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards in Matters of the Heart, which I'm so excited to announce is hitting shelves in just 5 weeks. So if you haven't pre-ordered your copy, go and do that wherever books are sold. I'm super excited. It's time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of 3 different animals, and I asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal's calling to you, because that animal has your message. And the animals were the frog, the moose, and the swan. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal's calling to you, because that animal has your message. And so for those of you who picked the fearless frog, the card says rebirth, cleansing, and revitalization. And frog is the animal that calls the rains. So if you're attracted to the frog this week, this could be a time for a cleansing. It could be a time to clean the clutter out of your environment. Or it could be a time to detoxify your emotions by expressing them. Sometimes when we don't feel our feelings, they kind of run our life from the background of our consciousness. And the frog encourages you to actually feel it so that you can release it. First card for frog is where it's best to place your focus this next week, and we get the Six of Swords. There's a lot of change cards in the tarot, some which can be difficult, like the Death card or the Tower. But for me, the Six of Swords is the most tranquil change card in the tarot. It's as simple as getting in your boat, going with the flow, and trusting the current of where the universe is leading you at this time. Sometimes the Six of Swords can also indicate moving. It could be a literal move or travel, or it could be a metaphorical move where you're moving on from one level of your consciousness to the next. Either way, with the Six of Swords, it's time to leave behind the rough waters, the turbulent waters, and sail toward the placid, smooth waters in the future. So this could be a time to just surrender, to go with the flow. Watch how easily things start to fall into place when you're not forcing them, but instead when you just allow things to tranquilly bring you there. Second card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom if you pick the frog, and we actually get the Ace of Wands reversed. Now, upright, the Ace of Wands is a card of inspiration, new ideas, and magical passion that can start to make the world look shiny and new. When the Ace of Wands comes up reversed, it can sometimes indicate some blocked creativity, or it could indicate that you're inspired right now, you have the great idea, but your circumstances just don't allow for it yet. And when we couple that Ace of Wands with the Six of Swords, there's a sense that something needs to play out first before you can proceed. And yet, with the Ace of Wands, upright or reversed, you want to take advantage of that magical inspiration. So even if you can't implement your plan right now, the Ace of Wands reversed could tell you to write it down, to prepare it for the future, and maybe circle back at a time when you are in those tranquil waters, when you can finally address this issue. It's important to let things develop a little bit first before you make these new beginning plans. And I think this is in really alignment for this new year. For whatever reason, intuitively, I'm just getting this sense. It's like you just have to get over the hump of the new year, and then things start to seem a little bit more clear, and your channel for your creativity is going to be unobstructed. And then finally, the mythic archetype that's going to help you if you pick the frog is the Sphinx. And the Sphinx in ancient Greece is the creature of riddles and mystery. There is a riddle in front of you. It's time to solve it. Somehow it has to do with how you're going to implement your creativity, how you're going to make your idea work. And some of it has to do with waiting for things to transition a little bit more so you have more information so you can make the best decision later on. So I just think at this time, be patient. Things are still developing, but realize that there is a riddle here to solve. And I think that the answer to the riddle is going to come with time, not you just sitting in isolation in a room, banging your head against the wall, wondering why you can't get this thing to go yet. The next animal we're going to go into is the majestic moose, and his card says bravery, grit, and durability. And moose is a card of durability. It's also an animal of self-esteem, being able to really stand in your power. When the moose walks through the forest, he's got this majestic authority. And so this could be a time, much like the moose's antlers that take a lot of space, where you're taking more space, where your body language is declaring that you're really proclaiming that you deserve to be here and that you're taking that space up. And sometimes the moose can also just indicate that you want to be very conscious of the energy that you're sending out there at this time. It could be a time when you're really not shrinking into the corner or making yourself small, but instead you're really proclaiming to others that you deserve a seat at this table. First card for moose is where it's best to place your focus. And we actually get the Seven of Cups, which is sometimes a card of dreams and illusions, but also hopes and fears. And the Seven of Cups can indicate that right now the pathway in front of you is shrouded in mist. It's confusing. We don't know how it's all going to play out. And this is what usually activates everybody's imagination. Suddenly we're projecting on the pathway we cannot see, the worst case scenario or the best case scenario. And the Seven of Cups is telling you, stop, take a deep breath, and realize that you don't have all the facts right now. This is also a time to really keep your imagination in check. Sometimes this is a wonderful card for creative people or artists, but sometimes it can be a destructive card if you're caught in passively hoping or wishing for things to improve and then still not being proactive, still not really taking that action or that responsibility at this time. So Seven of Cups is just telling you to pierce the mist, to really look at what really is there. And just on a misty day, just as on a misty day when you can't see the whole road in front of you clearly, you may be able to see at least the several feet in front of you. And maybe that's all you need to see at this time as you proceed. Advice from your inner wisdom that's going to help you is the sun. And the sun coming after the clouds of the Seven of Cups could indicate that the sun is always going to return even after the cloudiest day. The sun is also a card of optimism, joy. And you see that little baby who's riding the horse, and horses can be symbols for magical assistance. So this could be a time when you're accepting help from other people. It could also just indicate that you're really allowing the solution to come to you. And I just get the feeling that you don't want to hope or wish or wait. You want to just allow it to come. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you is Selenus. He is the moon man in ancient Greek. He can indicate trusting your instincts, but he's also a teacher. And so this could indicate that you might need to seek a teacher. You might need to seek someone who's in the know. And then finally, the Serene Swan is our last card. And this card says elegance, purity, and peacefulness. And Swan takes all the transformations in stride from ugly duckling to swan. The swan is telling you to have foresight and to look at everything in its context and not to judge things by how they appear at the moment, but instead by how beautifully they can transform if given just a bit of a chance. First card for Swan is where it's best to place your focus, and we get the Queen of Pentacles, who's often accompanied by that little rabbit in her garden, which can sometimes indicate good luck and fertility, but can also indicate some anxiety that's surrounding issues of security and stability. And the Queen of Pentacles is just telling you to be patient, sit in your garden, allow things to flourish and bloom in their appropriate time, and watch out for giving your anxiety the megaphone at this time. It's important to stay focused on a tangible goal. The advice from your inner wisdom is actually the Chariot card. And the charioteer has one white animal, one black animal, both kind of moving in different directions, and he's exerting some control over this. You could feel split in two. Half of you wants to go this way, half of you wants to go that way. And yet the Chariot card, like many major arcana cards, really puts you in alignment with your spirit. And it tells you to allow your spirit to choose your moves for you at this time, not your fear. So I think that it's so important that you're really just transcending things, moving forward, and really, not allowing yourself to get pulled apart, but instead staying focused on your main goal, on your main tangible result. That's what's really going to lead to success for you. And then finally, we got the mythic archetype that's going to help you, and it's Clotho, the youngest of the three fates, who weaves and spins your thread of life. And what she indicates is that your thread of life is constantly being spun every day that you're alive. And it's important that you're using it to something that's important, to something that will bring victory eventually. And so my feeling for you is that this is going to be a time where you really want to weave the life you want to live and really take control over the direction of it. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always check me out at elliotoracle.com and schedule a one-on-one session with me there. Otherwise, I hope you all have a safe and happy week and happy December. And do look out for Tarot and Love on the shelves. I'm so excited to speak to you again next week.